If you're new to my YouTube channel, please click that subscribe button and remember to click the bell icon to get notifications of all my uploads throughout the week. So today I fancied doing something a little bit different. I've got a couple of these little mini frames, little wooden frames that I picked up a while ago, but I haven't really done much with. I did an assemblage box with one of these a while ago and you guys seem to like it. I want to do another kind of mini assemblage again, but this time I'm going to make use of some of the smaller paper dolls that are a little bit too small to put on an art journal page, but fit quite nicely into this little box here. So to start off with, I'm just going to grab some brown acrylic paint. This is the Hot Cocoa acrylic paint from Indigo Blue, and I'll just grab a paintbrush and I'm just going to give it a quick coat. Now it's untreated wood, so it literally will just soak in and dry pretty much in an instant. And this is the, did I say Hot Cocoa? I did, didn't I? So I'm not particularly bothered about getting it all the way into the middle, because I'm going to layer some paper into the middle. So I'm more concerned about getting the outside of the frame nicely painted. I may even go over the back as well, just for completion's sake, if you know what I mean. Do the back bit. So because this is a bit of a laborious process, not particularly interesting to sit and watch, it's literally watching paint dry. So you've seen me start it, so I will continue doing this, but for you, in the blink of an eye, I will have completed. Okay, so I've painted all the way around the box, and inside left that because that's going to be covered over with paper anyway. And looking at this on a camera, you can see some little white dots. Now that looks as though it's somewhere that I actually missed with the paint. It's actually where the glue is on the box for some strange reason. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab the archival ink and I'm just going to go over the top. It's just where some of the residual glue from the actual box making has come through, and for some reason the paint has resisted it, but that seems to have gotten rid of the majority. There we go. Okay, so while that's still out, I've already cut a piece of backing paper which I want to stick in. So just make sure which way around I got it. So that was it. So that's the piece of paper that's going to go in there. But before I do glue it in, obviously I want to grunge and distress up the background just so that it blends in a little bit nicer into those edges of the box. Now I had to be very careful when measuring the box because it's not necessarily perfect 90-degree corners and perpendicular. Anything made in China seldom is. So once that's in there, you see it kind of nicely does those edges. So I now have to be very careful at getting it back out again because those corners are quite tight. So I'm going to grab some glue. Don't need a lot. It's just to hold it in position. Remember which way around it went in. We'll be laughing. There we go. that should hold quite nicely. So the other thing, of course, is that I would like to kind of decorate the inside of the box as well. So I think that's going to work. I'm hoping it's going to work. So I've tried to do it to get those corners so that they fit perfect, but it's very difficult to do it because they're not perfect, and you've just got to keep on doing your paper or trying to get those corners as best you can. I haven't glued these in yet because I'm just trying to get the corner angles right before I even attempt to add any glue. Okay, so I think I've got that. So let's drop some glue on there and some across there. And then it should theoretically fit. Now I've deliberately not added any glue onto that flat piece there because I'm going to try and tuck that under. And hopefully, if I can manoeuvre this paper properly, that will go down in there, and that will then go over the top. And then if I can get this corner to work exactly the same, like that, I can then just pull that off and then drop the glue behind there and then stick that back down again. And then we'll have a piece that permanently fits. Don't worry about this edge here because that will be disguised going forward. So let's grab some glue onto there. And then this time we can add it onto that flap. We're very, very careful. So drop that in, push it right into the corner. Just pull that away slightly. And then that one can go around the corner there. And then we can stick that one back down over the top, concealing that piece in that corner. And that's only going to leave this bit here. So if I just gently ease that bit off, then I can add my glue onto this bit. Seems like an awful convoluted way to do it, but it's the only way I can think of to get the paper in that box right into the corners and actually hide the joins. Okay, I'm going to leave that to grab and set, and I will be right back. Okay, so it's had time just to grab. So all I'm going to do is just load up my ink pad again, and I'm just going to go around those edges just to try and hide those white bits, just the raw edges. As you can see, just start to disappear and blend into the background. My computer making funny noises in the background even though I'm not using it. It doesn't like being left alone. But then again, who does? So So just literally just playing it by eye, just to see if there's any of those bits that you can still see, just tiny bits in the corner. But I can always sort that out a bit later on with maybe an artist pit pen or something like that. Just go around and clear, or even just with the vintage photo distress marker. So we've kind of cleared as much as we can. Right, so time to actually start adding in a few bits and pieces, little tiny bits of ephemera. So before I go any further, I've got some really small Scrabble tiles, and what I've done is, so as not to bore you half to death, I've actually added a foam pad on the back of each one. So if I'm very careful, I can peel the back off, and that will allow me to stick that down just in the bottom of that frame. And I've pulled out the letters that makes up the word friends. So I'm just going to start adding those in now. Obviously trying to make sure that, I knew that would happen. I'm going to try and get it so it actually sits right into the corner. Come on, which is a little bit fiddly because it's tiny. There we go. And then just push them down, and that normally will hold it. It says normally, not like I do this all the time. And it doesn't matter if these are a little bit higgledy-piggledy, because that's kind of the theme. Okay, next one. I'm just hoping to goodness now that I've actually left enough room. I kind of planned it so that I would, but we can just jiggle it around a little bit if it doesn't look like there is enough. But I think there is. I can always just push it along a little bit just to make sure that it all fits. Just like so. Right, okay, so let's put some ephemera in the background. From an old dictionary, I've found the word friendly, friendship, which I'm going to just put a little bit of glue in the background, and that can get stuck in at the back there. I don't want to cover all of this up, but I just thought I'd add a little bit of vintage ephemera kind of stuff in the background. I've got some old stamps, so I can add another one of those in there just to add a little bit more variety to it. Like so. And then let's see what else I've got. Okay. So I've also found a little special delivery, which I think will be quite cute. So we can get that glued in. Probably stick that towards the top up there. Now then, I think we need some more glue in this corner, because you're not sticking down properly, are you? Okay. I know there doesn't look like there's much there, but I'm going to put these little Beauty's in there, and I'm also going to stick him down in there too. Don't want to get my head in the way. Now, as you can see, it looks like there's a little bit of depth in there. That's because there is. I've stuck some foam pads on the back, at least 2 or 3, just to give it that little bit of dimension. So I'm going to just wait until this glue is dry before sticking these down, and then I'll come back when we're just about ready to stick everybody together. Okay, so I've gone into my collection and found this little piece of another piece of ephemera, because I just thought it was lacking something down at the bottom as I was deciding whether or not it was complete enough, if you know what I mean. Did it need anything else? And I thought, yes, it did. So I've just thought we'd stick that down first of all, and then I can peel the back off my chappie with his little dog, and then he can go down right there. Just give him a little bit of a push so he's sat on top of the words, and then we've got our 2 fabulous flapper friends. And they can then sit just on top of that N and the D and the S at that side. So just give those a little bit of a push, just so that those foam pads can grab. And then we've got just a little pop of colour coming in from the background as well. Cool. Like that. Like it a lot. Haven't really decided about if it needs anything on the frame. I'll have to think about that for a second. And then I will be back in 2 shakes after I've had a little bit of a tidy up. So I've gone through my collection of ideology bits and pieces and metal findings and all that kind of stuff, only to discover I've run out of these box corners. So I'm going to have to either order some more, or, well, I do have loads actually, but just the wrong size. These are more for album corners. They're bent over, and I could straighten them up. It says very, very carefully. I'd have to get a pair of pliers and really open them up to stick them on. I've just scratched the paint now, I'll have to retouch that up. But they're not meant for this. They're not meant for this at all. I suppose I could glue them on with glossy accents just to give it a little bit of detail on the end of the box, and then that will hide that, but I'll still touch that up anyway. So I'll have to find my pliers and see if I can do that. Actually, it might not be quite as difficult as I thought. But I will definitely fix and screw one of these, probably this coppery coloured one, onto the back so it can be hung on a wall or stood. Right, I'll get on and do that, and I'll be back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. It's good saying that, isn't it? Okay, so there we are, done. Corners are on, and I've put the hanging clip at the top as well. So just in case you were wondering, I don't think I ever did mention just exactly how big this box is. So there you go, you can see it's just just under 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches, which in our money is just under 12 centimetres square. So there you go. Done and dusted. Now obviously if I kept all of these projects hanging around, I would have a room full, so therefore this will be going onto the website for sale, first come, first served. Can't say fairer than that. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up, share the video with all your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of that video. Now I'm off to go and wash my hands. I'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now. I'd also like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, without whose generosity and support these videos would not be possible. Thank you.